the Minolta Maxxum 5000 AF, and LomoChrome Metropolis. I wasted an hour before realizing that I wasn't actually shooting any film, and I make a scene out in public on 3 separate cameras. Or I discovered too late. I'm at 0. The film didn't take on. Damn. Jeez. Murphy's Law strikes again. I thought I'd winded this thing on. It turns out that if I don't get the tip, at least to this red part. There we go. Now we're loaded. So I've had a roll of 2019 Formula Lomography LomoChrome Metropolis since we're in 2021. In 2023 it expired. As of filming, the year is 2025. Now it says that this film can be rated anywhere between 100 and 400 ISO for normal processing. I believe I rated the roll I shot at 100. And yes, I used a motorized SLR to shoot through that roll of film, which doesn't have any DX code on it whatsoever. I also used the 35-70 f4 and the 70-210 f4. In theory, those 2 zooms should cover most focal lengths I need on an urban green space shoot. However, I've honestly found myself hating changing out lenses in the middle of things. But without further ado, let's get down to the park and chase some April flowers on a balmy day before the April showers come. Overexposed at 1/1000 or underexposed at 1/2000 thing. Or correctly exposed at 1/1000. Overexposed. F8, 1/500th. Jagged rocks. this. Things close-ups off down here. So we got another shot of that tower again. What I want is wide of the field of view this time. If the camera permits. One sec. It's this rock here. I'll tell you one thing, so this slot's probably going to be 10 or even 100 times more likely to go viral than I ever will. Ow. Jagged rocks. Why am I doing this? For the art. Think about it, for the art. Oh yeah. Indecent. Check. Reference. Now I decided on bracketing some of these shots with some demonstrating many stops of overexposure. I had 36 shots otherwise to burn through, and I'm not very good about that sort of thing. I've actually found it easier to have fewer shots on a roll of film. Because what, I'd go through maybe 12, 15, or even 25 in a day. Then what, I gotta come back another day? No, I'm actually gonna wait some shots. So what would otherwise be just one exposure, I will make 3, 4, or even 5 exposures. At different exposure levels. Some underexposing and some overexposing. All images, or at least somewhat usable, even those cooked to a crisp, at the equivalent EI of 12. Okay, so... Quickly changing out the lens. Get this on f8. I think it would be the sharpest. I need to steady myself. This is. Remember, IBIS didn't come out to the digital era, so I still feel like shaky. Okay, look, if it comes down between not stopping down enough to having to reduce the shutter speed so much that hand trimmers get in, it's better off just opening up the aperture more. F4. And then shot 33 of the roll. So what I want to do next is probably gonna get some pictures by the cherry trees. Now look, I might have said, or I might have heard somewhere that F8 and B there is the thing. However, that does not apply to all situations equally. If, and for instance, trying to shoot a subject out in the distance with a telephoto zoom lens, and stopping down at f8 means compromising on shutter speed. Example of that being having to go slower than the reciprocal of the focal length. Then you're better off opening up the aperture, even if it's all the way to f4 on this lens. It's actually a pretty good lens. If your subject is already way out in the distance, it's usually within the hyperfocal length, or rather the hyperfocal distance of the lens, which means everything should be in focus. And case in point, everything in these photos, from the Warren Avenue Bridge to the trees and to the shoreline and the water, are in focus. Now, one of the things it might actually need to stop down for, though, is when you need to increase the amount of depth of field when you're shooting closer subjects. It might ironically be the case when you're doing portraits when you want the shallow background. However, at longer focal lengths like the 210, odds are if you get somebody's eyes in focus, or the nose will probably be out of focus. I think there's some more ahead. If I go around a bit, I think I get a better view of that shore. I think the best view. Suck for trying to do a photo. Shot 35, let's make this one count. I want to close up. Really, really close up. 100th. Okay, I can slightly underexpose it, maybe like a contrast, say. Well, anyways, I think it was some day in early April. It got up to around maybe 20 degrees Celsius that day. Around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Now for the film scans, I went with auto levels and view scan and JPEGs. Once more, in spite of the fact that I'm publishing this video in HDR10. And even with view scans auto levels, on the V700, the Lomo Metropolis has a rather desaturated look. Now, at any rate, LomoChrome Metropolis is not the film for bright sunny days in April, unless you're looking for that grungy old film aesthetic straight out of scanning. I rated this at an EI of 100, and even overexposed shots by multiple stops on top of that. Maybe if I were to rate it at EI 400 instead of 100, I might get an improvement in contrast and saturation. It's not a normal film for normal people, and even considering that I think of myself as not normal, I wouldn't use this film under most circumstances. It's an experimental film, strictly for experimental shoots. It seems best suited for metropolitan environments, urban green spaces, notwithstanding. I've made this film do things that it wasn't advertised for. I've even gotten shots of cherry blossoms. This film takes the bleach bypass look up to 11. I couldn't even tell that the sky was blue if not for the accompanying video footage I shot with it. And I didn't even bleach bypass the film. Alright, Lomography LomoChrome Metropolis, or Lomo Metropolis for short. If I were to ever shoot this stuff again, I will definitely rate it at 400, or maybe even 200, not 100, and not overexposing it at 100 for damn sure. I hate changing lenses, I hate changing lenses, I hate changing lenses! I hate changing lenses mid-shoot as dust and dirt can make their way onto the mirror and into the viewfinder. I hate changing lenses mid-shoot as there's a possibility that either the camera or the lens could fall on the ground and break. I hate changing lenses mid-shoot, as the most important stuff often happens when I'm right in the middle of changing lenses. And on that bad poem, we're out.